Your retirement funds, your 401ks, well, the hedge funds that are over top of them, are being used to mitigate the losses of woke companies. I wish I was exaggerating and I wish I was joking, but that's the way this stuff is. And that's why these companies continue to do this stuff. But it's also a self-defeating principle because also these companies, they can't continue to double down on the stocks that give them the profits because if nobody's buying the stuff and the stocks continue to tank, take a look at Anheuser Busch specifically, Target as well. It's not going to last forever. It really isn't. So, how your 401k savings are being used to turn our biggest brands woke, as revealed by ex-Anheuser Busch executive who shows how you can fight back at the cash registers. All right then, man, I'm down with this. This is, Anson Fredericks one more time. This guy's super based. He was the one saying the communication has been absolute dog shit, but we'll see what he has right here. Every day, it seems another iconic American brand has marched head-on into the furious buzzsaw of public controversy. Ooh, last month, but not last month. Okay, this was March at this point in time. Bud Light sponsorship of tranny Dylan Mulvaney sparked massive customer backlash. Now Target is a subject to boycotts, even though, there's some bitch that was in the sparkly vampire movie that she's just, big sad about it because her, de facto purse puppy kid can't, he doesn't feel, or that doesn't feel safe in here anymore. I don't want to misgender a kid. Companies that saw their stock prices plummet and billions of dollars of value erased almost overnight. No, it's just $10 billion in 10 days for Target. And since the start of the nonsense for Anheuser Busch, a much smaller company in comparison. $9 billion? No, it's over 15 at this point in time. But given, it's almost 2 months at this point in time. Shit's hilarious. They're not alone. Yeah, Nike, Calvin Klein, North Face, even the Los Angeles Dodgers, which, that one hurts. Because I was holding out hope that maybe Major League Baseball wouldn't be total dog shit anymore. But no. Any little corner of my cold, dying black heart, it's just really starting to just go away. And because it's like, everything's being ruined, huh? Like, I didn't hold out hope for most things, but I would have just hoped that maybe baseball. Oh well, fuck it. I have been criticized for wading into America's culture wars. What's going on? What happened? Why is it that companies that were once happy to sell clothes and beverages, nostalgia to Americans of all political stripes? Because you remember Michael Jordan, one of his famous quotes, "Stop it. Get us some help." No, the other one. Even Republicans buy our shoes, which was, I don't know, really should have focused shop that one. And it's like, okay, you want to go ahead and you want to let your political allegiances completely out of the bag, but that was way back in the cut. And I've been upfront about this. I got a lot of Nike gear, okay? Nike gear, Jordan gear, even though I'm wearing, this is off-brand. I have no fucking idea what it is, but Under Armour shorts, that's about it. A lot of my socks are just the exact same thing, mostly because it's good products, okay? And at the end of the day, me not buying anything and doing myself a disservice by getting a faulty brand, a less competent wear, well, I'm just, like the idiots in Europe who were taking the cold showers even though they didn't want to just because they were going to try to stick it to Putin. That's why Ted Cruz was talking about the Target boycott is going to be different than the Bud Light boycott because there are so many readily available, easily transition in the best possible light products to transition over to, like Bud Light. How many light beers are out there on the market? You drinkers that are out there can probably name a half dozen of them that you've either tried or that you've switched off of your regular products to in order to support, either for a cost-cutting measure or simply because you don't want to be caught dead in public drinking tranny fluid. That's your choice at the end of the day. But when it comes to, actual decent clothing, like Adidas does the exact same shit as Nike does. So if you're going to try to take a stand against them, it's your butt fucked if you're doing it over there as well. And then Under Armour, they're probably going to have the big gay rainbow there and you can buy all of your Pride stuff. So just in case your balls rub against the inside of your leg when you're out running here, ladies, we've got the product for you. They'll probably be doing something ridiculous like that. But when it's all said and done, pick your battles. Pick your fucking battles. So as an executive at Anheuser Busch for more than a decade, I witnessed, this is Anson Fredericks, by the way, not me. I didn't witness any of this shit. I've just been looking at it and it's like, wow, advertisement really hates men. I wonder what's at the bottom of this. Kind of commie thinking, intersectionality gets thrown on top of that. And then you start to realize, oh, who controls all the purse strings? Makes a lot of sense now, doesn't it? No longer was I in the pursuit of the almighty dollar within the bounds of morality and the law and the sole purpose of so many of America's top companies. Today, the country's greatest enterprises have been repurposed into vehicles of social change. Allow me to explain. All right, that's interesting. So what are the fucking extension cords for? Is that to just wrap each testicle around the strap so that you can just go ahead and fold them in there? No wonder trannies just always look so miserable, because their balls are just, being manipulated in ways they shouldn't be. Oh, well, I don't know, nor do I care. Not dating a tranny. Not dating one. Imagine that, big revelation right there, I'd imagine. Target and Bud Light are publicly traded companies, which means that ultimately their investors, aka Wall Street, are calling the shots. Yes. Enter BlackRock, State Street, Vanguard. Yes, the exact same one. My ESG, my CEI. It's a little bit deeper than that. And like this guy said at the beginning, just follow the money. And it's like, yeah, no, hey, fucking based. The most influential financial institutions in U.S. history. Yes, they're known as the big three on Wall Street. Okay. Haven't heard State Street before, but yeah, Vanguard and BlackRock, those ones make sense. Though many Americans have never heard of them. These three companies control more than 20 trillion with a T in assets, almost none of which is their own. They're big hedge funds, right? Rather, they manage the money held in everyday Americans' retirement accounts, pension funds, mutual accounts, and investment accounts. Together, the big three constitute the largest shareholders of nearly 90% of the largest companies listed on the U.S. stock exchange, the S&P 500. The big three's influence is staggering, but if they were managing this money simply to make more money, there might not be an issue. That's why I forget specifically. But I know that I mentioned this before very, very recently as well. When you have rich people, okay, there comes a certain point in time where it's just another zero that's in your bank account. It's just another digit that just gets pushed along. Okay, you're a millionaire. Now you're a multi-millionaire. Now you're a multi-millionaire. Now you're a billionaire. Fantastic. You have all this money. You continue to buy assets, accumulate more wealth, but at the end of the day, what's on top of that? What else can you do? What's the next mountain to climb? Power and influence. That's why rich people always want to do. That's why they're always implicated in doing the weirdest things imaginable. And I think I heard this from Ryan Dawson. Shout out to him. Smart guy. Edgy guy. The way that you deal with the poor is you pay them off. Bribe them, move them out of the way. The way that you influence wealthy people, rich people, is through blackmail. Is through influence. So when you and two of your other friends control $20 trillion in the American markets, what else is there to do? You can make what? You can go to $22 trillion. Fantastic stuff. But when it's all said and done, what do you want to do with all that money? Okay, you want to repurpose it and you want to use it in order to shape the world into the way that you want to see it. So, okay, that's what we're doing here. To make them more reliable on your products and shape the consumer base into something that will be a little bit more malleable and a little bit more susceptible to your marketing. See where we're going. The big three are proponents of what's called stakeholder capitalism, which is a belief that the businesses should be run not only to increase value to shareholders, but to serve as stakeholders, including government agencies, activists, and non-governmental organizations, NGOs. And stakeholder capitalism is distinct from traditional shareholder capitalism, okay, which contends that companies have one responsibility: to generate profits for the individuals who own shares in the company. The stakeholder movement has been around since the 1970s, and has even earlier philosophical roots, okay, but it truly began to gain traction in American investment circles only about 5 years ago. 2019 was a turning point. Okay, that year, the Business Roundtable, which is a group of CEOs from America's largest companies, adopted a new statement on the purpose of a corporation, they're working together, so it's a cooperation on top of that, declaring that all companies share a fundamental commitment to all of our stakeholders to promote a larger social good. Oh, interesting. 188 American CEOs signed on. Haven't heard about this before. Always hear about that nebulous, oh, it's ESG, it's trying to capitulate to the WEF, but here we have some shit in writing. This is very interesting. Among them were the CEOs of the big three, so stateside, state road, state street. State Street eventually got it. Vanguard and BlackRock. Okay. And other large financial institutions like JP Morgan and Bank of America. There's been some people from inside JP Morgan that have opined on this Bud Light situation as well, so that's interesting. And many of the companies they own, including Target, Disney, and Coca-Cola. Oh, okay. Bud Light, it should be noted, is owned by the European parent company, yes, InBev, and is ineligible to participate. But nonetheless, they have influenced this new vision of purpose. Yeah, no, that totally makes sense. You want to do business in America, you got to go check in with the guys that are in charge. And chances are, one of those 188 people are one of the guys on the list that you have to go see. Just saying. It makes the, oh, God damn. Why are you doing that? Why are you doing that? You hurt me. You hurt me so much. Big Three began to issue guidelines about how they expected their portfolio companies to honor the commitment by implementing so-called ESG. To encourage compliance, the Big Three uses their power as shareholders to influence who sits on corporate boards. In 2021, they voted to replace ExxonMobil board members with climate experts, who immediately sought to reduce the oil giant's explorations and drilling output to meet contested climate goals. That, and Joe Biden also signed an executive order where there was no drilling on federal lands anymore. So that's, they subsequently voted for racial equality audits at companies like Apple and Home Depot, compelling the companies to impose race-based hiring criteria. Well, it's probably easier for Home Depot, and depending on which side of the fence Apple wants to put Asians on, might not be that difficult for them. And Home Depot, we know the guys that like to hang around outside to put up the equipment that you're purchasing there. So compelling the companies to impose race-based hiring criteria and implementing diversity diversity, inclusion, and equity programs. Beyond shareholding voting, the Big Three employ large engagement teams to pressure CEOs for progress on ESG goals that increase ESG scores. BlackRock has over 70 employees dedicated to stewardship efforts. In 2022 alone, they had 3,880 engagements with 2,580 companies. Okay, not bad. Seems like a lot, but the Big Three also wield enormous influence when it comes to executive pay. According to one study, a shocking 73% of the S&P 500 companies now tie executive compensation to ESG measures. Okay, that's interesting as well. If a CEO doesn't weigh in on the latest social issue quickly enough, his or her bonus could be in jeopardy. The ordinary consumer may have no idea that their money is being used to leverage by major financial institutions to influence popular American brands, but as a result are born out of a divisive product launch and marketing campaigns. The impact is becoming clearer. Stakeholder capitalism is hurting business. Previously loyal customers have stopped buying these products and they're opting for alternative brands that remain out of the political fray. This is bad news for shareholders who rely on these companies to meet their investment goals. It often puts CEOs at odds with their employees and customers. It's also bad for society. Yeah, this is where I start to see, okay, it's all well and good. If business is booming and you want to make social changes, I don't agree with any of these policies, but I also understand this is the way that the world works. So if you can assess it that way, you can figure out the way that they're going to be moving. So if everybody's moving away from the companies that are employing this stuff by just not even having to know what ESG is, not having to know what CEI, DEI, different policies are, they can just look at that and go, yeah, I don't need to have sexual wear for my kids. That's probably a bridge too far. We're just going to go ahead and not do that anymore. Or, yeah, I got a tranny trying to shill my favorite product. Okay, cool. I'm just going to go make that my favorite product now, and you guys can go ahead and you can have that over there. This is a step too far. And then, yes, if those stocks start to plummet and they don't see any benefit of being a part of this co-op anymore, and then they just get out of it, how does this benefit them? Okay, so ESG, just like a lot of other things, is not a straitjacket. That's what I'm starting to see right here. America traditionally settles contested political issues through an accountable electoral process. Yeah. Do we? Well, I'm not American, but do we all? Society-wide, do we really? Fair and honest and Appropriate electoral processes? Another topic for another time. Stakeholder capitalism movement subverts the system. Questions over environmental issues, parental rights, gender equality, and the like should be settled at the ballot box, not the boardroom, and many Americans seem to agree. Yeah, this is where we're starting to see now at this point. Think whatever you will, and I don't know enough about the Disney situation to really give an educated take on it, but a lot of people are saying that, yeah, it's really hurting Disney, even though Little Mermaid's making a lot of money right now, but not internationally, and people are nitpicking the numbers. At the end of the day, it's going to make 9 digits at the fucking box office this weekend, which is absolutely absurd, looking at how shit that film is, but people just like what is comfortable, what is simple, what they know. They give a certain level of credence to something that's just been around forever, too big to fail, too old to fade away and die, but now we're starting to see that idea pushed to its absolute limit. Did anybody think that Bud Light would be in the shape that it is just at the beginning of this year? Absolutely not. Did anybody think that there would have been wide-ranging boycotts of the second or third largest department store in the entire nation? No, probably not. But we're here right now. It's only going to get crazier through the end of the year, and see how it's going to work its way into the political elections that are going to be coming up over the next 18 months. If you think things are wild right now, strap in, not strap on. I would never want to push that. It's only going to get crazier, and it's going to be a bumpy ride. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.